Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's disc review, we are taking a look at one of the flippiest mid-ranges I have ever thrown. That's right, we're taking a look at the Innova ROLLO. Let's go ahead and begin this review taking a look at the profile. First thing I noticed with the ROLLO is that the shoulder, it's very incredibly steep. Like, it doesn't have much of a rim before all of a sudden it's just immediately very steep into the shoulder. However, the flight plate is incredibly flat, giving the ROLLO a very thin profile. So it's not very deep feeling whatsoever. It is incredibly flat. So if you do like very slender profile mid-ranges, this is going to be one you're going to want to take a look at. So in the intro, I mentioned the ROLLO was flippy. Well, there are the flight numbers. Speed 5, glide 6, turn -4, and a fade of 1. And honestly, that fade of 1 is very questionable. When it comes to the flight of the ROLLO, especially if you are ripping into it, you just have to accept the fact it's going to do one thing, and that is that it's going to immediately turn over. Now, that's not to say you can't get the ROLLO to hyzer out, but you really have to control your arm speed and you have to put it on a lot of hyzer, because even with myself being a slower arm speed player, I can throw it at about 50% power and it's still going to flip up to flat, and I need to throw it still even more extremely high to get it to hyzer out. And you're kind of seeing the difference between full power and half power for me. Full power, it's just always going to turn over, regardless of what angle I toss it on, and whether it's a steep hyzer, slight hyzer, near flat, it's always going to turn over. But if I do commit to actually powering down with the ROLLO and throw it on more touch shots, you can get it to be a little bit more workable on a lot of different shot shapes. But one shot I think everyone needs a disc like the ROLLO in their bag for are these shots, these stand-still, patent-pending shots. It is a very overlooked part of disc golf that when you're in the woods or pinched off, you're going to need a disc that you can throw at a standstill and still get a lot of good distance. Also, as the namesake says, the ROLLO, yeah, it makes a pretty good roller disc as well. However, because the ROLLO is so understable and has very little to no resistance to any kind of high-speed torque, I would strongly suggest not using the ROLLO on forehands unless it is for extremely touchy forehands where pretty much you need something to turn over right away and you don't have to worry about it coming back. I mean, this thing just has absolutely no high-speed torque resistance at all, so it is incredibly easy to get it to flip up, and unfortunately, it can turn into an incidental roller if you're off on your angle of release by just the slightest amount. But don't let that deter you from trying out the ROLLO, because my goodness, this mid-range is one of the most fun discs that I have thrown in a long time. There's just so many crazy shots you can do with it. You can throw it on all sorts of angles and just get it to hold so many unique and crazy lines. I love being able to throw this on a knife hyzer at near full power and getting it to almost corkscrew in the air. There's just so much fun things that you can do, great weird wacky lines you can try to hit. It's just one of those great discs that you pull out when you're with a group of friends and you just want to try to hit the wackiest shots. But on the more serious side, the ROLLO is an amazing tool for players who want to learn either A, how to throw rollers, but also how to hyzer flip. Hyzer flipping, it is something you do have to learn. It's a great shot to have in your bag, and the ROLLO, it is great for newer players, for amateurs, to learn how to hyzer flip just because of how understable it is. Anyone can hyzer flip the ROLLO. It doesn't matter your arm speed, your age. Anybody can hyzer flip the ROLLO, which makes it such an irreplaceable tool for amateur players. So let's go ahead and check out the ROLLO on the course. Now, if you want your friends to think that you are throwing with the opposite hand, yeah, just throw a ROLLO. Throw it out wide and then just watch the ROLLO start to turn and then just keep on turning all the way to the ground. It would make, if you're throwing righty, it'll make people think you're a lefty, and then for myself, it makes people think that I'm a righty. This hole, you have a Mando to the left, a few gaps down the middle. Throw the Rollo a little bit soft on a hyzer, let it flip up to flat, it'll get a little bit of turn in that mid-flight, and then find that smaller second opening on the left-hand side. The Rollo is decent when it comes to tunnels like this, however you do have to be careful of how much arm speed you give it. Just throw it soft on a lot of hyzer, it'll flip up to flat. Depending on how fast you work your arm, you may just get a little bit of turn, but it does make good work of those tunnels. And then when you get wide open space like this, it's whatever you want. Just throw the Rollo, make sure it's on hyzer, rip into it, and just watch it glide so incredibly far. The Rollo has just so much glide that it is a perfect disc for just those really wide open shots if you want to have fun and throw a mid-range. And even the Rollo hasn't been out for very long. It does come in Star, Champion Glow, Halo, Regular Champion, and DX plastic. I have it in Star, Glow, and also in Halo. For me, the Star is probably the most understable of the three. DX will probably be the most understable overall, but the Star, I can know that I just have to throw it out way wide and it is going to hold the turn. Maybe depending on how much height I give it, maybe it comes back towards the very end, but it's always going to hold that turn no matter what angle I throw it on. Whereas the Halo has a little bit more bite at the end. I wouldn't call it an overstable Rollo by any means. However, it is one that it can hold straighter lines a little bit better, has just slightly more torque resistance when thrown at slower speeds, so it can hold tunnels a little bit better, but it's still a Rollo, so if you throw it flat, slight, and hyzer, it is going to hold that turn all the way to the ground, just like any other Rollo. So I've mentioned it a couple times how the Rollo is the most understable mid-range I have ever thrown. Well, I wanted to put that to the test against other understable mid-ranges that are out on the market today. But first, a quick comparison between the Rollo and Glow versus Star. Star, to me, is the most understable. It starts to turn over just a little bit faster than the Glow. The Glow, it holds straighter just a little bit before fully turning over. Now, up against the Paradox from Axiom Discs, again, another very understable mid-range. It again will start out straight, get a good bit of turn, but unlike the others, it actually has a little bit more fight at the very end. So whereas the Rollo is going to hold the turn all the way to the ground, the Paradox is more like the Halo Rollo, where it's going to turn, you know it's going to flip, but then depending on height at the very, very end of the flight, it may just have a little bit of a finish. And then from Discraft, you have the Stratus, which is seeing a resurgence in that X plastic. And for me, the Stratus is going to hold straight longer than the others before it starts to turn over. So it'll ride out pretty straight, and then as soon as it starts to turn over, just like the Rollo, it will start to turn and hold that turn, versus with the Paradox, you may just get a little bit of a fight out at the end. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I absolutely love the Rollo. You can just hit so many crazy lines that are just almost mind-bending with this disc. And if you can control the angle of release and your arm speed, the Rollo becomes an amazing tool if you want to learn how to hyzer flip, or you're needing that get out of jail free disc when you're stuck in the woods. The Rollo has you covered. Also, be sure to visit GreatLakesDisc.com to get your Rollo. Use that code Lefty at checkout to save 10%. Thank you again all for watching, and until the next one, keep banging chain.